beautiful things.
Hi! Been a while since we met at that writers' conference. I hope you're doing well and writing. For the last year, I've been hiding behind a computer screen, anonymously giving out advice in the online column called Dear Sugar. I know you've read the column because I've received exactly one fan letter. Yours. To be honest, I don't have a passion for the gig, and as you know, I admire your work, so I am brazenly emailing you with a job offer. Do you want to take over the column? I mean, do you want to be sugar? As you know, it's anonymous, so there's no credit, and the bonus is there's no pay. So, you in?
Hello, and thank you for your strange offer. I'm trying to finish a book. My husband is an artist. We have 2 children, 10 mountains of debt. I just can't possibly. Yeah, I'm in.
That's great! I'll forward you the letters.
Dear Sugar, I'm jealous of other people's success, even if I like them. When my friends get good news, I put on a smile, but I'm still thinking, why not me?
Dear Sugar, I want to make friends. And my dad's advice is, just be yourself. But it isn't that easy in a new school in 8th grade. Everyone has their own groups. Everyone already knows who they're going to pair up with in science class. And I'm stuck with an antisocial kid who picks his nose.
Dear Sugar, I get seasick, and I have a boat trip coming up with my boss. He doesn't like me. I mean, he really doesn't like me. I don't want to go on the trip. I want to call in sick before I get on the boat and spew. What's your advice?
Dear Sugar, I'm a 70-year-old married man, and I suspect my newly widowed neighbour is spying on me when I'm in the yard. When I'm out there pulling the weeds to drive her batty, I don't wear a shirt.
Dear Sugar, I'm a 35-year-old woman. I lost my job, and I'm entering into an arrangement with a married man. We will rendezvous twice a week, and he will pay me $1,000 a month. I have many thoughts and questions, including, is this taxable income?
Dear Sugar, my question is about love. I'm at the age where most of my friends are married. The closest I've been to the altar was when I was the best man. I've had 3 relationships, one casual, one serious, and one current. There was no issue with the casual one. I was upfront about not wanting to settle down. Second one started out casual and I broke it off when she got serious, so I lost both a friend and a lover. For about 4 months now, I've been dating another woman. She seems to be falling in love with me. I I don't want to say that word out loud because it comes loaded with promises that are fragile and easily broken. My question is, when do I have to take that big step and say, I love you? What is this love thing all about anyway? Signed, Confused.
Dear Confused, I agree. That word love is highly loaded with... I agree, that's terrible advice. Dear Confused, you must be confused if you're confused. Don't let the timetable by which others live their lives affect yours. No. Dear Confused. The last word my mother ever said to me was love. She was 45. So sick and weak that she couldn't even muster the I or the U. But it didn't matter. That puny word has the power to stand on its own. I was 22 and I wasn't with my mother when she died. No one was. She died alone in a hospital room. And for years it felt like my insides were frozen solid because of that. I ran over and over in my head the choices I made that stopped me from being with my mother when she died. But thinking about it didn't do a thing. Thinking about it was a deep dive into a bucket of shit with no bottom. I would never be with my mother when she died. My mother would never be alive again. The last things that happened between us would always be the last things. It'd be way that I got my coat and said, I love you. And it'd be the way that she was silent until I was almost at the door and she called out, love. It'd be the way that she was lying there, still in that hospital room the next morning, but dead. My mother's last words clank inside me like an iron bell that someone rings at dinner time. Love, 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 love. I bet you think this has nothing to do with your letter. But your question and my answer are about love. Love is that feeling we have for people we hold in high regard. It can be light as a hug we give a friend, or heavy as the sacrifices we make for our children. It can be fleeting, everlasting, conditional, unconditional, stoked by sex, sullied by abuse, nourished by humour. The point is that you get to define it. You get to describe the, oh, I didn't mean to fall in love, but I sort of have. Love that you appear to have for this woman. You think that withholding one simple word would stop you from getting hurt. You ask me, when is the right time to tell this woman that you love her? And my answer is simple. When you think you love her, be brave. Brave enough to break your own heart. Take all the motherfucking shit out of love. Look, we are all going to die. So hit that iron bell like it's dinner time. Signed, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, something's different. Who the hell are you?
Hi, I'm the new Sugar.
I knew it. Who are you?
What's your real name?
Let's just keep it Sugar.
Do you write other things?
Yes. Are you a published author? Yes.
As in author of a real book or a blog?
I have published a few things, including a novel.
So do you write the letters for the column?
No.
What, the letters are real?
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
Do you have an office? Is this your job?
I write from home at night when I'm supposed to be working on my new book.
Have you ever written an advice column before?
No.
Any questions off limits?
No.
Do you like it up the arse?
No.
Can we really ask you
Dear Sugar, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? I'm asking this question every day as it applies to everything. Best. WTF.
Dear Sugar, I got pregnant, and my boyfriend and me, we were excited to become parents. When I was 6.5 months pregnant, I miscarried. Since then, not a day has gone by where I haven't thought about who that child would have been. A girl. She had a name. Every day I wake up and think, my daughter would be 6 months old, or my daughter would have started crawling today. Sometimes, all I can think is the word daughter. Daughter. Over and over and over. I'm not sad or pissed off. I don't care about anything. I'm numb. And I can't get past it. Most of the people in my life expect me to have moved on by now. One even pointed out it was only a miscarriage. So then I end up feeling guilty for having given in to a child that never existed. Then there's a reason I lost the baby. My doctor said it was because I was overweight. Part of me thinks the doctor was an asshole for saying that, and another part of me believes that it was my fault. Sometimes I don't eat for days, and sometimes I eat everything in sight and throw it all up. I spend hours at the gym, walking on the treadmill until I can barely lift my legs. The rational part of me understands that if I don't pull myself out of this, I could do serious damage to myself. I know this. And yet I just don't care. I want to know how to care again. Signed, Stuck.
Dear Stuck, some people think they're being honest with you. Others are scared of the intensity of your loss. None of them will be useful to you. They live on planet Earth. You live on planet my baby died. There are many women who have spent their days silently chanting daughter, daughter, or son, son to themselves. You need to find those women. They're your tribe. The healing power of even the most microscopic exchange with someone who in an instant knows precisely what you're talking about because they themselves have experienced it too, that cannot be overestimated. Years ago, I was working with at-risk girls in middle school. They were mainly white and poor in 7th or 8th grade. My job title was youth advocate. My mission was to help the girls succeed. Succeeding meant not falling pregnant or getting locked up before they finished high school. It meant eventually holding down a job. It was a small thing, and yet it was enormous. It was like trying to push an 18-wheeler up the hill with your pinky finger. I was scared of them at first. They were 13 and I was 28, and they hated everything. And everything was boring or stupid and either totally cool or totally gay. And I had to explain to them why not to use the word gay to mean stupid, and they thought I was a total fad for thinking that by gay they meant gay. And I had to explain to them why not to use the word fad. And then I handed out journals that I'd purchased for them.
Do we get to keep these?
Yeah, open. I got them to each write down 3 true things about themselves and 1 lie. And then we went around the room trying to guess
not me, but how I held them with unconditional positive regard. I took the girls to places they'd never been. We went to the ballet, the rock climbing gym. I hoped that if they witnessed the grace of live art, they wouldn't go and steal someone's wallet and end up in jail. That as they pulled themselves up a fake boulder, that they'd value their bodies and they wouldn't get knocked up. Their dads were in prison or unknown to them or fucking them. Their mothers were strung out on drugs or on the streets. The girls told me ghastly, merciless stories of sorrow and betrayal. One girl, she wore this oversized sweatshirt that came down to her knees, the hoodie pulled up. She had this dense curtain of black hair, so it looked like she had two backs of her head and no face. And she told me that she slept most nights
in a falling down wooden shed in the alley behind the apartment building.
where she lived. She did this because
I couldn't stand staying inside.
her mother ranted and raved, mentally ill and alcoholic. Another girl told me that when her mother's boyfriend got mad, that he
Dragged me into the yard and turned on the hose and put my face up to the ice cold running water until I almost drowned. And then locked me outside for 2 hours.
I told the girls that these things were unacceptable, that they were illegal, that I would call somebody and I'll make this stop. I called the police, I called child protection services, and no one did anything. So I told the girls something different. This will not stop. This will go on. So you have got to find a place within you to not only escape the shit, but you've got to transcend it. And if you can't do that, then your whole life is going to be shit forever and ever and ever. You've got to do more than hold on. You've got to reach. And the same is true for you, Stuck. And for anyone else who has ever had anything terrible happen to them, the way you get unstuck is you reach. Therapy and speaking in groups and talking to friends, that will help. Don't keep it inside. Talk it out. Cry it out. Get it out. But know this, nobody can make this right for you. You have got to reach for your desire to heal. True healing is a fierce place. It's a monstrous place. A place of beauty and shimmering light, but you have got to work really hard to get there. Several years after I left that job, I was having lunch at a Taco Bell. And I was just packing up all of my things to go when a woman in a Taco Bell uniform approached me and said my name. It was the faceless girl from the falling down shed. Her hair was all pulled back and she was thrown up.
Hey,
Is that you?
I made it, didn't I?
You did. You absolutely did. Signed, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, I'm a middle-aged married man who's crushing on a friend. It's full-blown, just like in high school. Sweaty palms, distracted, giddy, the whole shebang. If we'd met at a different time, we'd probably be together. We spend hours talking. We're never bored. We can't stop smiling around each other. We really like each other. So far, it's gone no further than flirting. We've never kissed. We've never crossed a physical boundary, but we really like each other. So my question isn't about what I should do. I'm pretty clear that I should behave. I want to behave. I really want to. What should I do? Signed, crushed.
Oh, dear, crushed. That's basically every middle-aged married person.
And Zed's not going to bitch to you because you've forgotten to take the rubbish out. Zed doesn't even care if you're late because Zed doesn't wear a watch. Zed is like a motorcycle with no one on it. Dazzling, but it's going nowhere. Signed, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, the thought of staying in my marriage makes me feel panicky and claustrophobic. Well, my wife and I have some things in common, but I don't feel those are enough. I find myself fantasizing about dating other people. I'm afraid I'll get more bored as time goes on. I'm also afraid there's no one better out there for me, and, you know, I should be grateful for what I have.
Dear Sugar, I want to leave my marriage, but I don't want to embarrass her. I'm terrified of hurting her. She's been so good to me, and I consider her my best friend. I think that I love her, but I'm not in love with her.
Dear Sugar, I feel trapped and like I'm hiding the real me. I don't blame him for my discontent. But I never wanted to get married, and now I don't know how to stop the charade. I want out. But how?
Signed, afraid to leave.
Signed, I can't do this.
Signed, how can I hurt him?
Dear all those who wish to please. There was nothing wrong with my first husband. He wasn't perfect, but he was pretty close. We met a month after I turned 19 and on a rash and romantic impulse. We got married a month before I turned 20. There was this awful thing in me. From the very beginning, there was this clear, quiet voice that would not stop saying go. Go, even though you love him. Go, even though he is kind and faithful and dear to you. Go, even though he's your best friend and you're his. Go, even though your friends will be sad, surprised, pissed off, or all three. Go, even though you once said you'd stay. Go, even though you're afraid of being alone. Go, even though you have nowhere to go. Go because you want to. Because wanting to is enough. Get a pen. Write that down in your palm and read it over and over until your tears wash it away. When I came to my first marriage, I tried to be good. I tried to be bad. I was sad and scared and self-sacrificing and ultimately self-destructive. I finally cheated on my husband because I didn't have the courage to tell him I wanted out. I loved him too much to make a clean break, and so I made it dirty and botched the job. Divorcing my husband was the most excruciating decision I have ever made. But it wasn't just my life that was better because of it. He deserved the love of a woman who didn't have the word go whispering in her ear like a deranged ghost. We all know when we need to, want to, must go. I only ask, will you do it later? Or will you do it now? Signed, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, we still don't know who you are. And seriously, who the hell do you think you are? This week you're telling people to leave their marriages, and last week it was the opposite. You said don't have the affair. You said don't be X, fucking Y, or we'll turn into motorcycles. What is it you're trying to say? Signed, not
got to be bold.
Make up your mind. Whatever. What am I trying to work out who you are? Do you even know who you are? Make a choice, love, you know, pick a lane. So I'm still not buying it.
We're still not buying it. Several years ago, I was at a cafe with the man who is now my husband. We'd been dating for about a month, and we were deep in the thralls of you tell me everything and I'll tell you everything, because I love you madly stage. Anyway, on this particular day, I was telling him about my divorce and my months of heroin use. It's the tale of how I'd fallen pregnant to a heroin addict, and how I was so angry with myself for having to have an abortion that I intentionally sliced a line down my arm with a knife. And he stopped me and he said,
Don't get me wrong. I want to hear everything about your life. But I want you to know that you don't need to tell me this to get me to love you. You don't need to be broken for me.
I remember that moment precisely. It wasn't a good moment. I had never realised that I thought that to get a man to love me, that I had to appear broken for him. And yet, when he said it, I recognised it. He was this kind, caring, compassionate man, finally calling me out.
You don't need to be broken for me.
And I didn't have to be broken for him, even though parts of me were. I could be every piece of myself. I could be vulnerable and strong. I could be fearful and fearless. And that these things were valid, and yet contradictions of each other was the unification of the ancient and future parts of me. And in that moment, I was open. I was bare. I will be open with you. I will be bare. I will show you my strengths, and I will show you my brokenness. And I will do my best to offer you my best, tough, sweet, and yes, even sometimes contradictory advice. I don't know if my unorthodox approach is right or wrong. Yeah, I know that advice columnists are supposed to pick a point. There's a people who know, but that is not who I am. I am the person who does not know. But I will work really hard to find out what I can. This is who I am. So tell me, who are you? Signed, yours, Sugar.
Dear Sugar,
Dear Sugar, dear Sugar, dear Sugar, dear Sugar.
Dear Sugar, I was in an accident that injured my spine and now I'm secretly addicted to pain meds.
Dear Sugar, I'm afraid of my violent older brother who has terrorized me since we were kids.
Dear Sugar, icky thoughts turn me on. I have repulsive thoughts about men taking me aggressively and my being submissive to them in bed.
Dear Sugar, my wife drinks while I'm at work, and when I get home, she thinks I can't tell.
Dear Sugar, my daughter has a tumour. She gets brain surgery tomorrow, and I'm losing my faith in God.
Dear Sugar, my birth mother doesn't want to meet me.
Dear Sugar, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? I'm asking this question every day as it applies to everything. Best WTF!
Dear Sugar, I'm 34 years old and I'm transgender. I was born female, but knew I was meant to be male for as long as I can remember. I had the usual painful childhood and adolescence because I was different. Picked on by other kids, misunderstood by my family. 7 years ago, I told my mum and dad I intended to get gender confirmation surgery. They were furious. They said the worst things you can imagine anyone saying to another human being, especially if that human being is your child. In response, I cut off ties with them, moved away, and began a new life, living as a man. I have friendships and romance in my life. I love my job. I'm happy with who I've become and the life I've made. After years of no contact, I got an email from my parents that blew my mind. They apologized. They said that they were sorry that they never understood, and now they do. And they said that they miss me and they love me. Sugar, they want me back. I cried like crazy, which surprised me. I didn't believe that I loved my parents anymore. I've made it without them. I've built myself an island far away and safe from my past. I made it because I'm tough. Do I forgive them and get back in touch? Or do I ignore their email and stay safe on my island? What do I do? Signed, Orphan.
Dear orphan, forgive your parents. Not for them, for you. You have had to remake yourself. You, your mum and your dad, you can remake this too. A new era in which they are finally capable of loving the authentic you. What they did to you 7 years ago is terrible, but they know that. That's the difference between your parents and the parents of so many other children who have tried to stay in their children's lives after a period of abuse or trauma. They're sorry. They're more sorry than most. Your parents have grown and changed and come to understand things that confounded them before. Refusing to accept them for who they are is no different to them refusing to accept you for who you are. It's not tough. It's weak. You have had to ask yourself impossible questions and endure humiliation. You've had to remake your life in ways that most people can't even imagine, but so have your parents. When you needed them, they were drowning in their own fears, but they're not drowning anymore. They've swum to shore, and they've arrived at last at your island. Welcome them. Signed, yours, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, 4 years ago I was raped. And anger and pain became a deep part of my life and almost dragged me under. It took a long time, but I pulled myself up and I pulled myself onward. I feel like it's behind me, and I feel like been through some things. I just don't know if he can handle hearing about this. I think it'll freak him out. I think it'll affect our relationship. I need your advice. Sign, why tell?
Dear Whitell, I asked a friend, a talented painter, how she'd recovered from her sexual assault, how she'd resumed having healthy sexual relationships with men, how she continued being a talented painter and living a full life. She told me that we get to decide who we allow to influence us. She said, well, I can allow myself to be influenced by the guy who screwed me against my will, or I can allow myself to be influenced by Van Gogh. I chose Van Gogh. You chose Van Gogh too. I salute you for getting through your experience to the other side of this. But you have a secret within you. Keeping that secret from your boyfriend doesn't allow him to see what a warrior you are. We have to let the people who love us see what made us. Tell him. Tell him about your assault. Tell him how you suffered. How you worked through it. How you feel about it now. Tell him. Otherwise you create a burden of a secret that you are just too wonderful to keep. Yours, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, one of the general mysteries of life is that I don't know what something will turn out to be until I've lived through it. Will you give us an example of something you thought was one thing and then became another? Signed, Curious.
Dear Curious, the summer I turned 18, I was driving along the country road with my mum, and we stopped at a yard sale. There wasn't really anything there. I was just about to suggest that we leave when something caught my eye. It was a red velvet dress with a white lace trim, fit for a toddler. Now, I was pretty certain at this point that I was never going to be a parent. Children are fine, but ultimately annoying. I wanted more out of life. And yet, ridiculously, inexplicably, I wanted that red dress. Something about it called powerfully to me, and then my mother picked it up.
You want this dress for someday?
Oh, Mum, I'm not even going to have kids.
You can put it in a box. Then you have it no matter what you decide.
Yeah, Mum, I don't even have $1.
I do.
3 years later, I'd be standing in a field not far from that yard sale, holding the ashes of my mother's body in my palms. My mother was gone, and yet the red dress remained, packed in a cedar box with all her favourite things. I dragged that box through the scorching trail of my 20s and into my 30s, where I had 2 children, a son and a daughter. That red dress was a secret, not only to me, buried amongst my mother's favourite things. And when I unearthed it and held it again, it was like being slapped and kissed at the same time. Like somebody had turned the volume all the way up and all the way down. The 2 things that were true about its existence were the opposite fact, yet with the same single fact. My mother bought a dress for the granddaughter she'll never know. My mother bought a dress for the granddaughter she'll never know. How beautiful
The red dress was the material evidence of my loss, but also of how my mother's love had carried me forth beyond her. Her life extending years into my own in ways I could never have imagined when that red dress first caught my eye. And seeing my baby girl on the second Christmas of her life wearing the dress that the grandmother she will never know has bought her brought something back to me that I thought I'd lost forever. We will never know what will manifest in our lives. We live and have experiences. We leave people we love and are left by others. People we thought would be in our lives forever aren't, and those that we didn't know would come into our lives do. Our work here is to keep the faith, to put it in a box and wait, to trust that one day we will know what it all means. So when the ordinary miraculous is presented to us, we will be there, standing before the baby girl in her pretty dress, grateful for the smallest things. Yours, Sugar.
Dear Sugar.
Dear Sugar.
Dear Sugar.
Dear Sugar.
Dear Sugar, if it's true that drug addicts stop maturing when they first start using, then the same thing happens at weddings.
Dear Sugar, I'm worried I'll die alone.
Dear Sugar, when it comes to holding down a job, I'm the worst.
Dear Sugar, I'm attracted to my teacher.
Dear Sugar, where are you?
Sugar, are you there?
Dear Sugar, why are you answering me?
Dear Sugar, my roommate is selfish. Are you ever going to answer me?
Dear Sugar, kind of crazy, but my girlfriend is seriously turned on by Santa Claus. We all do. Big belly, white beard, his power to know if you're naughty or nice. It's our first Christmas together. She told me about the fantasy when Santa started popping up all over the place. She gets especially excited when she sees an actual Santa, which starts her thinking about sitting in his lap and what might happen next. So here's my question. My sister has 2 young sons. A few years ago she bought a Santa suit and I've been dressing up in it to give my young nephews a bit of a thrill on Christmas Eve. Anyway, it occurred to me that if I keep the suit for a bit, I could give my girlfriend a thrill too. Creepy? Good idea? Bad idea? What do you make of this plan? Signed, Sexy Santa.
Dear sexy Santa. Your giving spirit is genuinely what this holiday season is all about. I say stuff that woman's stocking and only Santa knows how. Yours, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, I dated this girl for a while until I realised she was self-absorbed. So I dumped her. And she became another one of my crazy exes. Then, she had a fight with her best friend. They stopped being friends. That ex-best friend of my ex called me up and wanted to hang out. I ended up banging her. A few days later, she tells me she's engaged. She wears this weird short-haired wig while she breaks up with me. The thing is, I I connected with her more in the 3 days we hung out than I did with my ex for months. Please help me figure out what I should do now. Which woman I should be with. I'm not a smart man. But I do know what love is. Signed, Gump.
Oh dear Gump. Look, I generally try and keep politics out of my column, but just this once, I'm going to recall when a former politician kind of said something wise, like, there are known knowns. These are the things that we know. There are known unknowns. These are the things that we know we do not know. And there are unknown unknowns. These are the things that we do not know we do not know. When it comes to your triangular quagmire, let's start with the known knowns. These are the things that you know you know. A.
I didn't want to fuck my girlfriend anymore, so I broke up with her.
B.
I fucked my ex-girlfriend's ex-best friend for 3 days. Things were good.
And C.
She put on a wig and told me she didn't want to fuck me anymore.
Which takes us to the known unknowns. These are the things that you know you do not know. A.
How come so many of my exes are crazy?
B.
Is my ex-girlfriend's ex-best friend really engaged to be married, or is she trying to shake me?
And C.
Why the wig?
Which takes us to the unknown unknowns. These are the things you do not know. You do not know. A. You do not have a future with either of these women. B. Neither of these women are even thinking about you right now. And C. Yet you're loved. You wrote to me with your sad, scared, searching, knuckle-headed heart on full display. It takes a lot to be that brave. And you are. And so for that, I love you. My only advice to you? Go and get yourself another girlfriend! Yours, Sugar!
Dear Sugar, my sister has been in hospice care for 6 months.
Dear Sugar, he said he only hired me because he's attracted to me.
Dear Sugar, my 2 sons, ages 35 and 31, have returned to the nest, my home. They didn't ask.
Dear Sugar, I was born with a rare blood disorder that's left me with physical deformities.
Dear Sugar, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm asking this question every day as it applies to everything. Best WTF.
Dear WTF. My father's father made me jack him off when I was 3 and 4 and 5. I wasn't any good at it. My hands were too small and I couldn't get the rhythm right, and I only knew that I didn't want to do it. I only knew that it made me feel miserable and anxious in a way so sickeningly particular that I could feel that particular sickness rising in my throat. I hated having to rub my grandfather's cock, but there was nothing I could do. I had to do it. My grandfather babysit my sister and me a couple of times a week, and when we were trapped inside his house, he would pull his already getting hard penis out of his pants and say, "Come here." And that was that. moved far away when I was 6 years old. And when my parents separated and my father left my life, I didn't see my grandfather again. He died of black lungs disease when he was 66 and I was 15. When I learned he did, I wasn't sad. I wasn't happy either. He was no one to me. And yet, he was always there. The force of what he made me do, moving through me like a dark river. For years, I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't talk about it. I hoped that silence would make it go away. Did. So I railed against it, in search of the answer of what the fuck was up with my grandfather for doing that to me? I could never shake it. That particular fuck would not be shook. Asking, what the fuck? Yeah, it just made it come around again. Around and around it went. My grandfather's cock in my hand, the memory of it so vivid, so palpable, so very much a part of me. It came to me during sex, and not during sex, it came to me in flashes. It came to me in dreams. It came to me when I saw a baby bird that had fallen out of its nest. I've always heard that you should not touch a bird, a baby bird, that if you did, that its mother wouldn't come back and get it. It didn't matter if that was true or not. There was only one humane thing to do. I picked up that baby bird and I put it in a paper bag and I smothered it with my hands. Nothing in my life has ever died easily. And this bird was no exception. I could feel it. Feel it between my palm, rearing up, simultaneously flaccid and ferocious, beneath a translucent sheen of skin, just as my grandfather's cock had been. There it is. There it is again. That ghost of that old man's cock will always be in my palms. But I knew what I had to do this time. I knew I had to press harder than I could possibly bear. Pressing harder was murder. It was mercy. That's what the fuck it was. The fuck was mine. And the fuck is yours too. This does not apply to everything every day. If it does, you are wasting your life. If it does, you are a lazy coward, and you are not a lazy coward. Ask better questions. What the fuck is your life? Answer it. Yours, sugar.
Dear Sugar, my father is a narcissist. Controlling, vain, volatile, and charming. If I wasn't cheerful enough, I was locked in my room for days. If I made a joke, he'd yell and curse at me. He would denounce me as his child over slight disagreements. And when he decided everything was fine, I was expected to accept his change of heart, no apologies offered, unless they were mine. I could never be perfect enough. And yet, I tried so hard to make him proud, to make him care. He was my dad after all. Still, now, as an adult, it's not better. He's so consumed by his image that when he found out that my therapist, a sweet, sympathetic and understanding counselor, was a woman he knew, so he insisted I stop seeing her. But 3 months ago, he went too far. He betrayed my mother, and I was the fucking bitch for finding out about his infidelity. You know, people say that family's important, that it is my duty to forgive the man that gave me life and to keep him in my life. He's the only partner that I have. But is it worth the pain? Signed, when is it too much?
Dear, when is it too much? No, maintaining a relationship with your abusive father it's not worth it. Yes, he is the only father you will ever have. But that does not give him the right to abuse you. The standards you should apply to whether or not you should maintain a relationship with him are the same ones you should apply to all relationships in your life. You will not be mistreated, you will not be manipulated, and you will not be disrespected. Your father does not currently uphold those standards. My mother, she left my father because he was violent and abusive. I've not had parents as an adult. And yet I carry them with me every day. They are like two empty bowls that I have to repeatedly fill up on my own. I fear that your father will have the same effect on you. Even if you cut ties with him, he will be the empty bowl that you have to fill up over and over again. When my mother died, I wrote a letter to my father saying that I was open to having a relationship with him, but first he had to explain why he'd done the things he'd done. He didn't write back. 17 years passed. And then, one day, a phone rings. And it's my father's name on the screen of my telephone.
Hello.
Hello?
Do you watch Rachel Ray?
Rachel Ray?
Yeah, Rachel Ray, you know. The cookbook author. She's got a talk show.
Yeah. And on it went. The most flabbergasting conversation of my life. My father spoke to me as if we spoke every week. As if nothing that had happened, as if my entire childhood had not existed. The topics were recipes, poodles, cataracts, sunscreen. I got off the phone 15 minutes later, utterly bewildered. He wasn't delusional or mentally ill. He was just my father. Speaking to me as if I was his daughter. As if he had a right. But he didn't. You know, I always thought of my father on my birthday. That on the day that I was born, that he must have held me in his arms and thought what a miracle his little baby was. He must have believed that he could be better than he had been before. few days after that phone call, I received a chatty note over email from my father, and I replied the same way I'd replied 17 years before, that I was open to having a relationship with him, but first we had to discuss our shared path. He wrote back inquiring what it was I wanted to know. I wrote the most loving, painful, forgiving letter of my life, and I hit send. My father's reply came back so quickly that it seems impossible that he could have read the whole thing. In enraged words, he said that I should never contact him again, and he was glad to be finally rid of me. I didn't cry. I just laced up my shoes, walked out the front door, through the neighbourhood, across the park, and I did not stop walking until I sat down on the top of the big hill on a bench that looked over the city. I had that feeling you get. There's no name for this feeling. It's that feeling when you're simultaneously sad and happy and appalled and appreciative and angry and every other possible emotion all smashed together and then amplified. Why is there no word for this feeling? I sat for hours on that bench, just looking at the sky and the trees and the land, thinking, my father. My father is finally, finally, rid of me. Perhaps healing is the word. And we don't want to believe it because we want to believe that healing is pure and perfect, like a baby on its birthday. And when we are holding it in our arms, we will be better than we have been before. Because we have to be. Yours, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, you ever read the comments after you've posted a response to a letter?
I'm a writer posting things online. I don't have time to read. Yes, I read the comments.
I wanted to let you know that I had this hot dream about you, even though I don't know what you look like. If your hair's straight or curly, if you're curvy or skinny. But it didn't matter, because you were a woman, and we were getting down.
Come on, who are you, Sugar? It's making me crazy. I want to know. What would a photograph of you look like?
Picture a woman standing naked in the moonlight. You can see everything but one thing.
Why can't we see that one thing? Why can't we see your face and know who you are?
Oh, you know who I am. I reveal myself to you in all of my letters.
If you had to give one piece of advice to people in their 20s, what would it be?
To be about 10 times more generous than you think yourself capable of being.
Why?
Because when you're in your 20s, you're becoming the person you're going to be, so you might as well not be an asshole.
Something weird that happened to you.
One time I was hiking a mountain in New Mexico. Anyway, there was a rocky path and it had snow on either side, and I hadn't seen anyone for a couple of hours. And then I met this couple, a man and a woman, and they'd only just met. So here we were, three strangers on a mountainside. Anyway, we got to talking and we discovered that we all had the same birthday. And not only that, we were all born on 3 consecutive years.
while we're standing there, 3 feathers floated up onto the snow in front of us. And we picked them up.
Can you tell us some of the dumb things you've done?
Heroin, meth, the withdrawal method, a blowjob by a lake, an idiot punk at a Beastie Boys concert.
What's a piece of advice you've given that's taken you some time to learn?
If on one side of a coin was the word forgiveness, then on the other side of that coin would be the word no. No is golden. It's like a good kind of power. No is what emotionally evolved people use to set boundaries. No means that you are choosing what you're going to share.
Will you tell us your name?
No.
Will you ever tell us your name?
Yes.
Doesn't matter to me what your name is. Where did you get that big heart in?
Well, from my mother, from my father, from a crack in the pavement where the flower grows, from a blowjob at the lake, in the lake, from saying yes to strange offers, from all of you.
Dear Sugar, for many years I stole compulsively. I blame myself, even though I was on a whole cocktail of psychotropic drugs for depression, anxiety and insomnia. I stole a pair of jeans from a friend, flower pots from neighbours. I stole money from my girlfriend's wallet. I blame myself, even though I grew up with my abusive mother screaming at me that I was a liar, a cheat and a thief. I was not only trying to fulfill my mother's prophecy, but maybe I was trying to get people to hate and reject me for being a liar, cheat and a thief. I hate myself. I loathe myself for what I've done. I wonder if I should confess to the friends who will surely reject me. Sugar, can I forgive myself without admitting to people how I've wronged them? Please help. Signed, Thief.
Dear Thief, on a warm spring day in my 20s, I realised that I was down to my last 20 cents. So I got everything I owned, everything, and I put it out in the yard. Customers came and went throughout the day, but my primary companions were this group of 11-year-old boys who drifted about, asking how much this was and how much that was, even though they didn't have the money to buy anything. In the afternoon, some of the boys told me that one of their friends had stolen something from me. It was a retro leather camera case that I'd once used as a purse. It was empty, it was a worthless thing, pretty much not worth bothering about thing, but still I asked the boy if he'd stolen it.
No.
The next day he came back wearing an oversized hoodie. And when he thought I wasn't looking, he placed the camera case back where he'd taken it from the day before.
Your thing is back.
Yeah, good. Why'd you steal it?
I didn't.
It was a sunny day. The boys joined me on the porch. They told me about their lives, and the boy who'd stolen the camera case showed me his bicep, and told me in a tone more belligerent than the others that the chains he wore around his neck were real gold. Why'd you steal my camera case?
I didn't. I just took it while I went to my house to get money.
The day rolled on, and then in the afternoon it was just the two of us. He told me about his life and the mother he rarely saw, about his much older sibling. He told me about the really hot car he was going to buy as soon as he turned 16. Why'd you steal my camera case? There are very few times in my life where someone has been so nakedly honest and self-aware as he was that day. When he said what he said, I nearly fell off the steps. Probably because when he told me about himself, he was telling me about myself too. I used to steal these. A blue compact eyeshadow from a friend, a pretty sweater from a cousin, a little white dog figurine with a bobblehead that was askew. I don't know why I stole the things I did, and I still can't properly say. But because I was lonely seems like the righteous thing there is. And lonely isn't a crime. I think you're lonely too. The path to wholeness isn't to walk backwards up the trail. The people you stole from, they don't need you to fess up. But you are so invested in your self-loathing. If you perpetually condemn yourself for being a liar and a thief, does that ever make you any good? Look, I don't like the thief part of my narrative either. I wondered whether I should write about it here. I've never written about it to anyone before. I've written about all the other dumb things I've done, the bad things, the promiscuous sex, the drugs. This seems worse. But this is who I am, and this is who you are. Can we forgive ourselves? Years after I stopped stealing, I was sitting by a river on my own, thinking about all the things I'd stolen and all the bad things I'd done. And before I realised what I was doing, I was picking up blades of grass and dropping them into the river and watching them float away. I am forgiven, I thought, for the blade of grass that stood in for the blue compact eyeshadow. I am forgiven for the pretty sweater. I am forgiven for the dog figurine. And so on until I had said I am forgiven so many times that it actually felt like I really was. You have got to say I am forgiven over and over so many times until it becomes the story that you believe about yourself. We all have the capacity to do this. You included. I hope you will. I don't know what became of that lonely boy at my yard sale. But I hope he made right what was wrong inside of him. At the end of the day, I was packing up and the camera case that he'd stolen from me was still sitting there. Do you want this?
Yes, please.
It's yours. Sugar.
Dear Sugar, 1. It's taken me many weeks to compose this letter and I still can't do it right. The only way I can get it out is to make a list instead of writing a letter. 2. I don't have a definite question for you. I'm a sad, angry man whose son died. I want him back. That's all I ask for, and it's not a question. 3. Nearly 4 years ago, a drunk driver drove through a red light and hit my son at full speed. The dear boy I paramedics even got to him. He was 22. My only child. 4. I'm a father while not being a father. Most days it feels like my grief is going to kill me. Or maybe it already has. I'm a living dead dad. 5. Your column has helped me go on. I have faith in my version of God and I pray every day. And the way I feel when I'm in my deepest prayer is the way I feel when I read your words. 6. I see a psychologist regularly and I'm not clinically depressed or on medication. 7. Suicide has occurred to me, but I can't do it because it would be a betrayal of my values and also of the values I instilled in my son. 8. I have good friends and family who are supportive. Even my ex-wife and I have become close friends again since our son's death. 9. I have a good job in my health. 10. I'm going on with things in a way that makes it appear like I'm adjusting to life without my son. But the fact is I'm living a private hell. 11. Sometimes the pain is so great I simply lie in my bed and wail. 12. I can't stop thinking about my son. 13. I can't stop thinking about the things my son would be doing now if he were alive. And also the things I used to do with him when he was young. 14. I hate the man who killed my son! For his crime, he was incarcerated for 18 months, then released. He wrote me a letter of apology, but I barely scanned it. I ripped it into pieces and threw it in the garbage. 15. I fear you will choose not to answer my letter because you haven't lost a child. 16. I fear if you do choose to answer my letter, people will make critical comments about you saying you don't have the right to speak about this matter because you have not lost a child. 17. I pray you will never lose a child. 18. I will understand if you choose not to answer my letter. Most people, kind as they are, don't know what to say to me. So why should you? 19. I'm writing to you because the way you've written about your grief of your mother dying so young has been meaningful to me. 20. What can you say to me? 21. How do I go on? 22. How do I become human again? Signed. Living dead dad.
Dear living dead dad. 1. I don't know how you go on without your son. I only know that you do, and you have, and you will. 2. Your shattering letter is proof of that. 3. You asked me how to be human again. You are there, shining in all of your humanity unimpeachably for everybody reading your words here right now. 4. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry. peel back the rage, and you peel back the thoughts of suicide, and you peel back that man that got into his car. At the center of that is your pure father love for your boy, and nothing is stronger than that. 8, nobody can touch that, or take it away, or alter it. That love for your boy belongs only to you. 9, the small things saved me. The love I have for my mother, even after all these years, how powerfully I carry her with me. My grief is tremendous, but my love for her is bigger. And so is yours. You are not grieving your son's death because his death was ugly and unfair. You are grieving him because you loved him. 10, I keep imagining you lying on your bed and wailing, and I keep thinking that as hard as it is to do right now, you need to go silent, to lift your head and listen to what's there in the wake of your wail. 11, it's your life. The one you must now make, and the obliterated place is now your world, where everything you used to be is simultaneously erased and omnipresent, where you are forevermore a living, dead dad. 12, the literal translation of the word obliterate is to be against the letters. You couldn't write me a letter, and so you wrote me a list instead. 13, the obliterated place is equal parts creation and destruction. It is equal parts pitch black and bright light. It is water and parched earth. It is mud and it is manna. The work of deep grief is to build a home there.
14.
All is not yet revealed. Your son is yet to teach you everything he has to teach you. He has taught you how to love like you have never loved before. He has taught you how to suffer like you have never suffered before. Perhaps the next thing he will teach you is acceptance. And after that, forgiveness. 15. Forgiveness bellows from the bottom of the canoe. There are stories you will learn if you are brave enough to travel there. One of them might cure you. 16. We say, I can't go on. And what we should say is, we hope we won't have to. You have the power to withstand this sorrow. We all do.
17.
We go on by doing our best. We go on by being generous to those who can't go on, by offering comfort. We go on by allowing the unbearable days to pass and finding the pleasure in others. We go on by finding a channel for our rage and one for your love.
18.
When my son was 6 years old, he said to me, people die at all ages. He said it without fear or anguish. It was healing for me in a simple way to know that my mother's life, it was 45 years long. And there was nothing beyond that.
19.
When you said that you experienced my words as sacred, the part you are touching within me is my mother. The sugar is the temple that I built in my obliterated place. I'd give it all back. But the truth is my grief has taught me something. It required me to suffer, but it compelled me to reach. 20. Your grief will teach you to living dead dad. Your son is the greatest gift in his life. He is the greatest gift in his death too. Receive it. Let your dead boy be your most profound revelation. 21. Think, my son's
There is no 23. 24. Create something of him. Make it beautiful. Yours. Sugar.
Sugar, I heard you're finally going to reveal your real name. Is that true? Will we get to know who you are? Signed, Hopeful.
Dear Hopeful. There is a common assumption that by not revealing my name that I'm somehow protecting my privacy, or that it's more freeing to write anonymously. What's freeing is that you get to read my words without any barriers of preconceptions around my age or ethnicity or achievements. You get to read it with the pure vision of me. When I took on Sugar, I wrote the only way I know how, with radical sincerity and open arms. What surprised me most is what you all gave back to me. You gave me love.
Love, 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 love.
So much love. My story spilled into yours and yours spilled into mine. I am not just Sugar. We have created something together. We are all Sugar. You know the most intimate details of my life that I've revealed to you in my stories. So now not revealing my name just doesn't seem important. My name is Cheryl Strayed, and yes, I am Sugar, but so are all of you. Yours, Sugar.
Dear Sugar, there's something I've been wanting to ask you.
My question is pretty simple.
It's something I've wondered about.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Love you.
Dear younger me. Stop worrying about whether or not you're fat. You're not fat. Okay, maybe you are a little bit, but who gives a shit? Just feed yourself. The people worthy of your love will love you more for that.
The adults who you think are old and stupidly saddled with kids and cars and houses were once every bit as hip and pompous as you.
In the middle of the night, in the middle of your 20s, when a friend crawls naked into your bed, straddles you and says, "You should run away from me before I devour you," believe her.
Don't lament so much how your career will turn out. You don't have a career, you have a life. Do the work, keep the faith. All the useless days will add up to something. Shitty waitressing jobs, the writing in your journal, the long meandering walks, the hours spent reading poetry and novels and dead people's diaries and wondering about sex and God and whether you should shave under your armpits or not. Now, these things are your becoming.
When that sweet but fucked up gay couple invites you over to their cool house to do ecstasy with them, say no. You cannot convince people to love you. This is an absolute rule. Real love moves freely in both directions. Don't waste your time on anything else.
Most things will be okay eventually, but not everything will be. Sometimes you'll put up a good fight and lose. Sometimes you'll hold on hard and realise there's no choice but to let go. Acceptance is a small, quiet room.
When you meet a man in the doorway of a Mexican restaurant and you later kiss him whilst he explains that this kiss, it can't mean anything because as much as I like you, I'm just not ready for a relationship. Ugh. Just laugh, kiss him back. Your daughter will have his sense of humour and your son will have his eyes.
There are things you can't understand yet. Your life will be a grand and continuing unfolding. You'll come to know things that you can only know through the wisdom of age and the grace of years. Most of those things will have to do with forgiveness.
On a Christmas day in your 20s, when your mother gives you a warm coat that she has been saving months to buy you, don't look at her skeptically and when she tells you that she thinks it looks perfect on you.
Don't hold it up and say it's longer than you like your coats to be, and too puffy, and possibly even too warm.
Your mother will be dead by spring. The coat will be the last gift she gave you.
For the rest of your life, you will regret the small thing you didn't say. Say thank you.
In the era in which you've gotten yourself ridiculously tangled up in heroin, you'll be getting on a bus one hot afternoon thinking, what a worthless piece of shit you are. And a little girl will get onto the bus holding the strings of 2 purple balloons, and she'll offer you one. But you won't take it because you no longer believe you have the right to such tiny, beautiful things. You're wrong. You do. Yours. Sugar. We've spent the last 2 months working on this, a couple of times a week, each week, amongst jobs and families and everything else that we're all doing. And so we really hope that we showed this work some justice. From the get-go, we all knew that we had a responsibility to tell these stories in the most authentic way because they are real letters and they are real stories. It's been such a beautiful experience creating this amazing supportive community. It's been very healing for all of us, and we hope it's been that way for you as well this evening. Now, this show could not have been possible without the whole team that is also behind the scenes, and we'd love to take the time now to thank each of them. So, Bianca Sirani, Margaret Curtis, Norpa for the ongoing support, and Amy Skeen. Fionn Jones and Katie Holmes, who took all the fabulous photos in promo for this show. Augustina Digo Buccello. Sorry if I pronounce that terribly. Dave from Frontline Printing, the drill hall, this fabulous space, and the volunteers at the bar that have kept you all, I'm sure, happy and fed and drunk up. BBBM and Bunnings Warehouse.
unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. Our marketing team, led by Joel Cooper, with Bianca Miskin for doing such a great job, Bangalore Theatre, and all the volunteers for front of house and the tea room. We also couldn't do what we do on stage without our behind the scenes team. Big round of applause for our lighting designer, Rich Morris. And last but not least, our director, Anushka Gammon. On behalf of all the cast and the crew, we want to say a big thank you. Thank you for holding such a beautiful space for us, for it to be safe, and for loving all of us. We love you.
Thank you all for coming. Thanks for sharing our closing night of such a beautiful, powerful, cathartic play. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's been an absolute gift to work with this cast. I didn't really need to do much. I mean, like, there was a bit of movement, as you probably saw through the space, but a lot of them found those moments themselves. It's such an honour to work with such strong actors. I commend each and every one of you. Such talent found in the Northern Rivers. We should all be so proud of this. So please go off and enjoy your Easters, but don't forget, performing arts is real. We are real people. We are not AI. We are.
Thank you.